Alright guys, hello, what's up? It's Artsy here. I've released this song a couple of days back, I think, but I wanted to kind of like give it a walkthrough, like a real quick walkthrough, because I tried a couple of new things, I think, and I wanted to kind of show you, because I'm still learning and there's a fuck ton to learn, and you know, I'm still quite of a beginner. I've been doing music for like a little under 2 years now, so yeah, I think that we could just get it started real quick here. In case you don't know the song or haven't listened to it or anything like that, I'll show a little bit here, if you're interested in hearing it, because I don't want to just keep talking about something that you don't even know what it sounds like. So let's just go here. So something like that, and I guess we should start with the lower end, so kick and bass. So just a standard kick here, standard uplifting trance kind of kick. The kick sample is from the DPTE. Fuck, I honestly don't really remember the complete name of the sample pack. If I'm honest here, that's kind of awkward, but it's just a really good sample pack for kicks and percussion, drums and stuff like that for the trance music. So I just boosted the lower end hertz a little bit here for a kick. Next up, there's the sub bass itself. Just a regular, pretty simple kind of sub bass. We just have a couple of notes lifted up in the end, so it kind of like gives more suspense for the build up. Then we have the mid bass, and it's just quite of a regular generic uplifting trance mid bass as well, and nothing like innovative or anything like that. It's just layered, and well, not necessarily layered, but there's just quite of the same kind of sounds going on with just a little bit of different pattern and stuff like that. So this one is a little bit more atmospheric. atmospheric. It has quite a lot of reverb and delay on it. The other one's just normal ass fucking mid basses. And it's of course sidechained. I used to use the mid chain, but now I'm using the classic chain, so it's giving it a little bit more room for the mid bass itself. It's not really, messing with the kick either. It's still giving it enough room. If I would go with free punch, it could probably get pretty messy, but classic chain is fine enough. And it's pretty much the same over here as well with all of them. Then I cut off the lowest of the lowest low end, because it's a mid bass. It's probably like usually in the 150s to 250s hertz. I like to have it there usually, because we need the sub bass in the 120 and lower, as well as the kick. And if we have the mid basses there, it'll just clash with them, because the sub bass and the kick are pretty much doing all the work that we need on the lower end, where it's under 150 hertz. So we can cut these off here and just give it more of that lower end sound in 150 to 300 hertz, or wherever it usually likes to go at. And it's not a brick wall kind of cut, but it's pretty close. And we all have all of that there. Then we have the drums, the open hat, offbeat open hat, classic. Then there's the claps. Then there's the closed hats. There's the ride, and then there's a couple of percussion loops. Just to give it more of that, give it a little more of that juice, if I could say that. And the claps, all the fucking drum elements, open hats and whatever, I'll just cut off from the lowest of the lowest high ends, and a little bit from the mids as well, because we just don't need that. We need that sound from there at all. Just gives more room for the other sounds in that range. The claps are with a little bit of reverb, and because the reverb is on it, like on its own fucking bus channel, or channel mixer channel, I want to cut off the frequencies of the reverb as well, because it's not enough if I just cut it from here. And now that I'm talking about this, I really need to change the positions of this, because now it's actually cutting off the reverb sound from here. So that was in the wrong way. I don't now realized, but it's not a big deal. Then we have the Plucks. This one's just an atmospheric plug to give it some flavor. It has quite a lot of reverb and delay as well to make it more atmospheric and stuff. And it's just cut off from the low end as well, nothing too special. Then we have the second melody. It's much louder, as you can see, so like you can actually pay more attention to the second melody instead of this useless fucking atmospheric block. And I'll just cut off the low frequencies here as well, but then I also used compression here to have all the sounds glued in together with the fucking pre-compression. So this pre-compression kind of like I think it kind of like does this, that it like glues in all the sounds, so all the highest sounds and all the lowest sounds of the pluck kind of like get closer to each other and get glued, so the sound is not as dynamic and not all over the place. You can actually hear the lower end easier and stuff like that, you know, like the more quieter sounds. And because we don't use post compression here, you know, like we don't increase it, it pretty much like stays at the same volume, if that makes sense. Because pre-compression doesn't really increase volume, it just like has the sounds closer to each other, so it has the effect that's kind of like louder, but it actually isn't. And that's beneficial in, you know, like in the sense that the audio is not clipping. When it's clipping, it's making the sound bad, you know, like a worse quality and distorted. So we don't want that. So we got two of these, and then the third melody kind of like kicks in here. Automation here. Which is just opening all the higher frequencies here in time. So it kind of like gives the effect that it's kind of like further away, the sound is further away, and then it's like coming closer and closer to you. And that's coming in here. Here we have both these melodies playing at the same time. And we also have the atmospheric flow. But when it's actually, when all the elements are playing, you don't really hear this one. But we don't really need that anyway. It could also make the sounds a bit too overwhelming in the sense that there's like too much going on. So these two are doing the stuff, and as you can hear, probably, I think you can, is that even though this noise started at first, it's not as loud and not as pronounced as the main melody here, which is this one. Because if both of them would be at the same volume, or would, you know, like if I would want both of them to be as pronounced and, you know, as much in your face, it would just become more of a mess. So when we're having two melodies played with each other, we usually want the other one to be a little bit more in the background and the other one a bit more in the front, so, you know. And also when you have both of them playing, you kind of like have to figure out melodies that kind of like complement each other. So unless you're like really fucking good, you kind of like have to have simpler melodies when you have two of them, so they don't, like, you know, there's not too much going on and the listener doesn't feel so overwhelmed or just like doesn't enjoy it. So yeah, these aren't anything crazy, they're pretty simple, but they kind of like work with each other, so that's good. And also with the main melody here, we also have it pre-compressed as well, so like all the sounds, all the lower sounds are like playing or like more pronounced, you can like hear them better. And I also put a little bit more post compression as well, so it's louder than the second melody here. And that's pretty much it there. As you can see here in the drop, there it's actually like the noise opening up completely. Here it's just going with this part, and then we're gonna have the second melody coming in here as well, and the second part of the drop. You can kind of hear both of them because just what I was talking about before. And the other one is more in the background, the other one is more pronounced in the front, in your face. But then there's also that thing that because it's just a regular pluck, it wouldn't have as much impact in the climax if it was just like this, like this. So what I had to do here is add a little bit of white noise to make it, like more wide and rich, so we can have actually some impact here in the climax compared to in the build-up. So it would be kind of anticlimactic if we had just have the same kind of impact in the build-up as much as or as well as in the drop. So obviously we all know that in drop we kind of like want to have a little bit of that boom, a little bit of that wow, effect and reaction, if we can say that. So we're pretty much having to this, and you can hear how thin it would be without this one. We pretty much have to have this one as well in here. So it's kind of like giving it more of that richness. And then also in the build up here, there's quite a lot of animation here. We're making the things more quieter, a little bit more in the background animation. The high ends, high frequencies like a bit off, cutting them and then having them come back right in the start of the drop, making all this just more quiet so we can have more impact. And also cutting off the low frequencies here before the drop and then having them right back in here, when the drop hits. Then we have the risers, a little bit of those. Nothing crazy here. And then there's the pads. And there's quite a lot of them, but they're pretty quiet here. There's an automated pad here that I did. So it's like opening the filter more and more at this point, and then it's going down again. So it kind of like can give that vibe as well, where the song is kind of like, or not the song, the pad is kind of like coming forward and then a little bit back. And we're just having this here. It's following the root key, the G, the same one where the sub bass and the mid bass is. And that's pretty much it here. There's this pad as well. I think it's called a lead pad. It's pretty much a super saw. It's like really aggressive, but really gives that rich sound. As long as you don't have it too loud, it really makes a difference when you have one, like have that next step that like doesn't sound too thin. Because when it's like with the same sounds all over and over again all the time, kind of like can get like, what's going on now, stuff like that. So here it doesn't sound as much, but these ones are super saw pad as well. Giving quite a bit of a difference. So I really like to use these super sub pads. I've been using them a while now. It can make this the mix a little bit more messy, but what I usually like to do is of course sidechain it. I sidechain it to like 3 out of 4 usually, so it's not like it's actually giving some impact there, and it's actually you can hear it in some ways. But then I like to like sidechain the actual sidechain, and what that means is that we have the actual pad going with 3 out of 4, but then Hold on, I'm trying to kind of like fucking use my last brain cell here to explain it. So we have 75% here. So hold up, let's try and get this back. No, where is it now? Well, here, it's the same thing. So when we have this one 75, because if it would be 100% sidechain, you know, it wouldn't be as, you know, it wouldn't make as much of an impact. We need that, but we need a certain amount of, you know, cut completely, you know, with the 100% sidechain, the you know, the more aggressive sidechain. Because the more sidechain there is, the more room there's for other elements, and I'd say that under 200 hertz there's the biggest difference and the biggest importance for the room of the sounds is for the lower end, and from 200 hertz to lower. Oh fuck! Hold on, my phone. Hold on a second. Alright, sorry about that. So where was I left off? So yeah, so 200 hertz, we want that to be fully sidechained, so there's as much room as possible for the actual kick, sub, bass, and maybe a little bit for the mid bass as well, so it doesn't get as muddy. It's pretty much like that in here, with all the pads. But with the lead pads, because they're, you know, so rich, it kind of can make the mix a little bit more muddy. So I like to cut a little bit of the hertz of the higher end. I think this higher end is already, maybe not actually. It's in the middle, kind of, because it's still 300 hertz, no 3000 hertz. Sorry. But I pretty much do that for all these, and also you can maybe cut off the highest of the highest hertz. I don't know how to say it in English. But yeah, I kind of want to have that as well sometimes, so it gives more room for the plucks, for example. But you can kind of hear it in the drop as well, I think. If we take all the lead pads off. These ones, I think there could be more. This one. So there's quite a lot of, well, it's still making an impact, but I feel as though the lead pads kind of give it that extra kick. It kind of brings up, you know, it just makes the climax or the drop more richer, and it's just much better. So I really like to use those, but it's just that, you know, you have to be careful with the mix so it doesn't get as muddy, and you know, one of these things can kind of help with it. But either way, I think there's nothing that crazy. After that, there's just some other pad kind of things, you know, a choir and strings, and then just the bass for the breakdown. Just an atmospheric pad for the for some ear candy maybe. And then there's just these small effects that I've done for the start, so it doesn't sound as empty. Just automated the filter as well, so it kind of makes it a little bit more aggressive in time. So you can't really hear it in the song itself that much, but it kind of gives the extra kick in a way that doesn't sound as dull. There's going on, but I don't think there's anything else. I think that's it. So I'm pretty bad at explaining, but I just wanted to kind of like just do this for this, like for the sake of it. Just like fuck it, I just figured that I kind of like wanted to do it. Even though the song itself is that crazy, anyway, but there's just some things that I kind of like wanted to show. The mastering is just something that I just do pretty amateurly, like everything, but like it can be even worse than normal, like worse than my other stuff, but I do think that it still sounds better than no master effects. So that's something, I guess. Just do fresh air a little bit because it's really impactful. It does a lot for the whole master, so we can't go overboard with that. A little bit of stereo widening for the lower end. Just doing it mono, doing, because when it's mono, it's much better, because it doesn't need any stereo, and when it's mono I think that it just like has a little more impact, so it's not like as far apart, the sounds aren't that far apart. When it's mono, it's just kind of like it's more like compact, so just a little bit more stereo for the high end and the mid end, even though it's just a little bit as well. And this one's a free glue compressor. It's pretty fucking good for mastering. There's just an automation for that. It doesn't really do anything for the master itself. And there's the gain for the. I used for the limiter for the gain, but nothing else. The ceiling is maxed out and all that stuff. Then the soft clipper for the actual limiting, so it doesn't, it doesn't clip and distort the actual sound. And when it's like it has the limiter with the soft clipper, I can do the gain, do quite a lot of the gain for the whole mix, and it doesn't still distort or clip or anything like that in a way. So there's that, and then there's just the span. This just showing what sounds play, to what extent, and in what kind of hertz area, and stuff like that. But I don't think there's anything else here for now. I don't think that this was very helpful or anything like that at all, but I just wanted to show it for the for Lils. I wanted to show what's going on inside here. Nothing too crazy or anything like that. As I said, I'm still quite of a beginner and stuff, but either way, thanks for watching, or thanks for clicking the video or anything like that. I'm sure that I'm not the most interesting person to be listening to all this kind of stuff and whatever, so I can't blame you if you've clicked it off or done something else or something like that, because this is not anything revolutionary or innovating or anything like that, but just a pretty generic trance song in a sense, after all. But yeah, thanks for watching, and thanks for everything. So see ya.